a standard disclaimer, right, for you guys to read. Okay, so to start off, so what's happening in the property market? If you see the continued strong demand for new homes in August, is the 4th month that has increased since the circuit breaker. And the buyers include, those in the stable employment and of course the HDB homeowners, because a lot of HDB flats have MOP. Okay, and there was a prediction in August that the new home sales will increase, and this is what happened. Okay, even the Hungry Ghost month in August, which usually in history it's always I would say that the sales is slower, but for this year, thanks to COVID-19, I think everybody has to stay put and, the fear of losing out. So new home sales has still shown a high increase, all right? So what happened, this is in August, so what happened in September? It continued. In fact, it's 5.6% more than in August for September. Okay, a total of 1,329 units were sold in 2020. The highest transacted sales since July 2018, right? 1,724 units were sold in July 2018 because of the cooling measure, the latest cooling measure, and buyers just rushing to buy in fear of paying higher ABSD, right? So new home sales is still showing a lots of potential, right? So the HDB resale prices have also risen, and that's also why many upgraders are coming in to purchase a private property, right? This is in August. I think this morning there was also an article that it's the prices has been at a 10-year high, right, for the HDB prices, right? Okay, so let's go into the detail of boutique development. So these are just definitions. There is no hard and fast rule or data that to show, but this is in property language terms. So double-digit number of units is what we classify as boutique development. Okay, then 100 to 400 units, we call it a small development or small project if you want to use that. 400 to 700, we call it a mid-sized development. Then 700 to 1,000 units big size development, and anything above the 1,000 plus units, we call it the mega development. So the mega developments are your Treasure Tampines, Affinity, at Serangoon, Riverfront, and Hougang. All these are what we consider as mega development, all right? So these are, something for buyers who they feel that, I don't want to stay in such a huge development where, there's a lot of competition, a lot of, it's overcrowded. So that's why there is this product called the boutique development. And believe it or not, boutique developments are always fully sold in the market. Once it's launched, it's always fully sold because there are buyers who want, privacy, they want, less competition. So that's why boutique development are also a hot favorite in today's market. So what is a boutique development? Okay, like I say in the earlier slide, less than 100 units. It's smaller in land, and that's why the developers can only build that number of units, right? So because of the small land, it has lesser facilities. So lesser facilities, yes, your maintenance and all that, your monthly maintenance is always lower, right? And it's usually or mostly in prime locations like your Holland, Kovan, Telok Kurau, Geylang, River Valley, etc. And it's usually located in landed enclave, right? So that's why for boutique developments, you are actually located in a place where its density is very low in terms of the population. And that's one of the big hit to purchasers of boutique development. They don't want to go home to a place where, after work and all that is overcrowded, there's a mad rush for, in the coffee shops or, in a supermarket, right? Okay, and it's usually 5-story high for the boutique developments because of the land size against the plot ratio and the minimum size requirement for the units, okay, especially if you're looking at Kovan, Telok Kurau, URA has a guideline that, all the dwelling units are based on the land size, the GFA, they have to divide it by 100 square meter. So because of that, that's why the height, they can go up, it's usually at 5-story, right? Because if they are going to build, although the top ratio is above 1.4 for certain of the location, right? If they build up to 10-story, the units are all very, very tiny. Okay, it's worse than a shoebox unit. So what are the benefits for a boutique development? Okay, it's less competition, okay, when selling. So just imagine if you are in a development of 50 units, and can we just say that, usually it's about, when TOP is usually 3 to 5% who wants to sell. So let's put it as 5% who wants to sell out of the 50 unit, it's only 25. Whereas if you go to a big development where 1,000 unit, there's 50 people who wants to sell. So you go into a lot of competition, right? And what happens when there's a lot of competition? Your prices are always affected. The caveats are always affected. And even when you want to rent, because there's the numbers of units is less, you can actually command a higher price in terms of asking of rental, all right? And because of, the volume of sales or even the renting, right, it's low, your prices is stable, okay? If you look at most of the data, it shows that the boutique developments always have stable prices. Okay, next. So crowd, okay, the facilities, right? You don't have to, like, you have 500 people using the swimming pool, in a week, or just say in a barbecue pit, that, you probably have 4 barbecue pits, but you need to wait for your turn. Whereas for a boutique development, if you are looking at a 50-unit development, right, you have less crowd in terms of going for the facilities. Even for the lift, right, you don't have to, wait for your turn, because if it's at 16-story high or 18-story high, you have to wait. You just say you're staying on the 4th floor, and you want to go down, you need to wait. Whereas for this boutique development, 5 stories, the lift is less crowded. And just say if you are really rushing for time, you can just take the stairs down. Okay. Even the car park, it's less crowded. Most of the time, I think Singaporeans now, yeah, we do drive, but if we are looking at places where there's a rental market, right, our expats, they do not want to drive because of our transport system in Singapore. It's so convenient, and that's where the car park becomes empty for boutique developments. And it's quieter living, in the corridors and all that, you don't have many of your neighbors walking in and out. Okay, and that gives you a very quiet living. Okay, what do I mean by more say? Okay, so you all will form the committee, your MCST and all that, right? You will form the committee, and you will have the say of how the development is run, how up you want your upgrading, whether you want to enhance the facilities and all that, you have more say. Whereas if you go into a very big development, right, your say is the minority, because that's, for example, 1,000 owners there, they have to listen to 1,000 of them, right? So in terms of en bloc, you also have more say, because if there's only 50 units, it's much easier, to have the agreement that they all want to go en bloc for the owners. Whereas if you are in a big development, everybody has to agree. That's why there's an 80% rule or 90%, depends on the age of the property, right? Okay, and this is also to show you that there's a strong demand for boutique projects. Recently, Arena Residences, fully sold. Okay, this is in Guillemard. Okay, 98 units, fully sold. Highest PSF transacted was 2012 PSF, and the average 1851. Myra, which was launched recently, okay, is also a boutique development. Okay, 20% sold on the weekend that it was launched. And the starting price for PSF started at 1990, and the average 2151. Okay, so Myra is in Potong Pasir. Yeah, anybody who is keen to actually go into Potong Pasir because of the secondary school, You can always call any of the ERA salesperson to know more, Myra. Okay, Noma. This is also another tell you guys that boutique developments, there's really good demand in boutique developments. Okay, 66% was sold on the preview day. Okay, this is in Guillemard. The highest PSF transacted 1808, and the average PSF transacted was 1648. Okay, anyway, they don't have much units left in Noma. Okay, 4. So what's coming up in a week's time is this boutique development called RYMDEN 77. Okay, this is in Telok Kurau. Let me show you where the location is later. Okay, so there is a very strong demand in the east, and it's proven when Penrose was launched by Hong Yong. Okay, on the day one itself, okay, they sold 60%. Okay, this is in Singe Drive, and the average selling price was from 1,500 to 1,700 PSF. Okay, it's a 99 leasehold for Penrose. Okay, even Treasure at Tampines, okay, more than 1,570 units were sold, and the highest PSF transacted was 1620 PSF. Okay, and it's still selling. Okay, but these are what we call the mega developments. Okay. Okay, size matters. This is an article that I think has put the light to majority of us as salesperson that we now know that clients are really looking at size. I think ever since the circuit breaker where everybody needs to stay home and all that, they find that I think my house needs to be at least at this size, because touch wood, if there is another circuit breaker, I need to stay home and I need that size. So these are consumers' preference now, right? In the recent years, they want bigger units. So size really matters now. Okay, and we believe that this trend will continue in the near future, because although the circuit breaker has lifted, we are all allowed to go back to office, but of course with some restriction, there's only 50% that's allowed to go back to office. The other 50% that still needs to work from home, right? And I think this is going to be our new norm. So that's why size matters. Okay, so touch a little bit more on what is RYMDEN. Okay, RYMDEN is a Swedish word for space. Okay, and this is what you can enjoy when you purchase a unit at RYMDEN 77, because our size starts from 904 square feet. Okay, it's something that I will say it's not a new norm, because majority of the developments now, when the starting size is 400 plus, or even a 3-bedroom is 800 plus. Whereas our unit, right, the smallest unit starts from 904 square feet. Okay. So this is where RYMDEN is located, right? It's the full address is 77 Lorong H, Telok Kurau. Okay. So it's only 31 units, very small development. Okay, it's clustered in Telok Kurau itself, and we are very fortunate to be located 500 meters to Kembangan MRT. Okay, so out of the many lorongs of Telok Kurau, for those people who are very familiar with Telok Kurau, you will know that Telok Kurau has a lot of lorongs, and we are very fortunate that this RYMDEN 77 is the nearest to the Kembangan MRT, so it's walking distance. If based on the Google map, if you are walking to the MRT, if you need to cut through because you can't dash through, it will take about 8 to 9 minutes walk. All right. Okay, so this is just a little bit more on the unit mix in RYMDEN. So you can see our 2-bedroom starts from 904 square feet, and then we have various sizes of the 2-bedroom plus 1346. That's the patio. We have even a 3-bedroom, right? 3-bedroom dual key, 4-bedroom, and we have penthouses as well. Okay, so if you look at it, this size is, I would say it's rare in the market now. So the project description, okay, it's one block of 5-story, okay, total 31 units with an attic. We have a swimming pool, and surface car park on the first story. Okay. Usually boutique developments, because of the lack of space in the land, most developers or the architects, what they plan is usually mechanized parking. Okay, but we are very, very fortunate that RYMDEN, right, using a very good architect and the developers on this experience, okay, they have planned out a surface car park. So surface car park is one of the key selling point in boutique developments, all right? So it's freehold, okay, and our estimated TOP date is 22nd December 2022. Okay, this is on paper, but if you really keen on this project, you take a drive down to the actual site, you can see they have already started constructing. In fact, foundation is done, the lift shaft is done, and I think the reinforcement concrete wall is already at the first level, starting on the second. So with small developments like this, right, the plus point is the TOP can be very fast. So for those who are looking for, an upgrade to switch to a brand new, private apartment, okay, RYMDEN, right, it's, I would say the plus point is you can shift in ASAP. You don't have to wait for like mega projects. They will take 4 years to actually build. So these are also plus points for boutique development. Okay, so the design, what they're going to have is the Scandinavian design. So it's most of the ID people now are all going into the Scandinavian design because what it is like very neutral colors, very calm, muted tones are their trademarks. So you need bright colors in your house to actually feel that it's big and it's bright. So you feel that the space is really good with this kind of colors. Okay. Okay, so to emphasize on what you are saying about boutique developments usually at landed enclave, and because of that it's at lower density of a location. So we are very fortunate that Telok Kurau, because we're classified under our nearest neighbor is Freehold, and if you see the population there, right, in total, right, it's 34,490. Okay, so it's a very low density because there's a lot of landed properties there. So you don't have to during the peak hours, rush in, go and get into a jam, or even, the malls that is surrounding nearby, or the coffee shops and all that, it's less crowded if you compare to those, heartland areas. Okay, and if you look at how the estate is designed, right, it's a very orderly estate where, it's parallel roads, okay, roads in between, and then left and right it's either a landed property or apartment. Okay, so it's not a very messy location. Okay, so like I say, if you walk to the MRT, it's 750 meters. Okay, and like I say again and emphasize how the many lorongs are. Lorong H is actually the nearest to the MRT. Okay, we are also very nearby reputable schools. Tao Nan, which is within 2 kilometers, the Head Girls, CHIJ Katong Primary, St. Stephen, and Victoria Village. Okay, all these are within the 2 kilometers. And we are also very near the international school, which is the Global Indian International School, the Siglap campus. So for if any one of you are looking for an investment and then your thoughts of, who are my tenant pool and all that, these are all your tenant pool from the international school. Okay, many food options nearby. I think, Singaporeans or those people who live in Singapore, we are all foodies. We love to eat. So most of the requirements when people purchase a location is is there any food nearby, because if I'm lazy to cook or too tired to cook, I need something that is nearby for me to grab, tapao, or go up there and eat. So we are very near the Diamond Food Center, very famous food there. The Hayward Market Food and Center, for those who love the Muslim cuisine, is there. We are also nearby the Geylang Serai Pasar Wet Market. Okay, and On the second floor, there is also a hawker center. And we are directly opposite this famous Senki, which serves the herbal black chicken or your kidney miso. Okay, even the steamed fish, it's all very fresh. And this coffee shop is very interesting. It used to be only one shop. Now if you drive there, it has expanded to 3 shops side by side. Right? Okay, and we are also very near mega malls. Okay, the nearest being Siglap Center or the Kembangan Plaza. But you just take a drive down a little bit. Okay, you have your Simpo Center, your PLQ Mall, right, and your Kinex. So you are not. Although when I say that you are in a very less crowded area, and your first thought is, oh, it's going to be very ulu, but just take a drive down. In fact, you're taking a bus, give and take 15 minutes, maybe bus ride, you'll hit PLQ, okay, Paya Square, and it's a mega mall there, all right? So Siglap Center itself, there's also a cold storage if you need to do your grocery shopping, if you don't want to go to the wet market. Okay, so staying in the east is living with lifestyle. Okay, why I say that is because you are very, very near East Coast Parkway, right? And East Coast has gone through a major upgrading, for the past 2 years. In fact, they are still, in the means of upgrading, like your Big Splash and all that. They have torn down and they're going to do something. So why people who want to live in the East is because of this lifestyle. Okay, it's very, very popular with families. In the weekend, they can take a stroll, or, those who love to exercise, they can always walk there. And that's why the park connectors in Singapore, it's, I would say, one of the key reasons why people buy that location. Okay, I have buyers who actually ask me, are we very near the park connector? Because, every evening they are, avid cyclists and all that. So they want the park connectors to be very nearby. Okay. And then, of course, in East Coast itself, they have this famous seafood center, right? Okay, why I put Jumbo here is because, that's one of my favorite restaurants, the Jumbo Seafood. And just lower down, you also have the East Coast Lagoon Hawker Center, which is always packed in the evening. Whether is it the weekends or the weekday, it's always very packed. There's also a lot of good food there. Okay, when I mentioned that, the park connector that has to be nearby, okay, we are lucky that RYMDEN is less than 300 meters away to the Siglap Park connector. Okay, so for those who, want to take a stroll or ride to East Coast, like I say, you go up to the park connector and then head down to East Coast. Okay, so this is what I mean by, Singapore has gone through a major upgrading on the park connectors. And this is only the eastern park connector. Okay, it's 42 kilometers. It is a network. So it links you all the way. If you see the map here, you can go through even up to Changi Beach. Okay, if you cycle or you want to take a walk, you can even go up to Pasir-Ris, right, Bedok Reservoir, Bedok Town, and then come back to East Coast and still link back to Siglap. Okay, so it's I will say it's very safe. You don't have to be cycling on the main road, which a lot of people who actually drives and all that, they always complain that the cyclists are hogging the road and all that. So for those who feel that you want safety instead of going through the road, use the park connector, right? Okay, so this is just to summarize, okay, for RYMDEN, right? Being in the center, what you have that is surrounding you. So your Geylang Serai Market Food Center, okay, and then your Diamond Food Center is here. The mall, Simple Center, PLQ Mall, Kinex, Paya Square, and then for schools, your Head Girls, okay, St. Stephen, this is an international school, Global Indian International, CHIJ Katong, Tao Nan, You have the St. Patrick's Secondary, your Victoria Junior College, which is the Victoria Village now. All right. Okay, so we are also very well connected by major expressway. Okay, so for those who that is working to or going to Changi Airport because of, although now yes, we all know that that the airline industry is affected, but it will open sooner or later. Okay, we can't go on for life, just being locked down in Singapore without the travel. In fact, the government has already started to announce, traveling and all that, whether it's the air bubble or, the green lane. So the airport will eventually start to open up again. So for those that, working in the airport, like your stewardess, your stewards, or your pilots, right, it's less than 20 minutes drive to Changi Airport, either by PIE or ECP. Okay, so if you look at this is from Google Map, right, it's less than 15 kilometers. Okay, so what about those who is working at Changi Business District Park? Okay, it's also less than 20 minutes drive. In fact, if you look at the distance, 11.6 km, right, is the longest distance if you go one big round. But if you cut through the small roads and all that, it's 9.1 kilometers. Although you take a longer time because of all the traffic lights, but if you are talking about in distance-wise, going through the small roads is faster in terms of the distance is shorter, right? Okay, so what about those working in the CBD? Okay, there are 3 routes that you can take. Okay, the longest distance is within 15 kilometers, but that's a big detour that you need to take. So usually everybody will either go by cut-through streams or you go by ECP. Okay, and that's how convenient actually in terms of where Telok Kurau is if you are looking to go to the CBD. Okay, so I think last week, there was a talk on the master plan. So majority of our purchasers here, we always look in what's in the master plan of the location that I'm going to purchase. Because with a master plan, right, that gives you a future sight of, what's in this location that, in future, if I need to sell and all that, what's going to happen? Can I exit? Will people want to buy, right? So we are so lucky that there is a future master plan in Telok Kurau itself. Okay, so being the upcoming, polyclinic, okay, the one that I will say that will enhance the prices of this location is the Bayshore housing precinct. Okay, Bayshore is going to be a housing estate. Okay, so of course the upgrading on East Coast Parkway, which I've shared with you just now. Okay, all this will enhance the sales price. So to emphasize a little bit more on the Bayshore master plan, okay, so you need to ask yourself this question. Being a government land, will it be sold freehold? Okay, so everybody knows that the government has already announced when they sell the land, it's always 99. Okay, so what will the prices be when it's for sale for Bayshore? Okay, being facing the sea, the MRT is coming up there. How much are they going to sell? So look at the recent transaction that we have retrieved also. Seaside Residences, which is going to TOP anytime soon. Okay, it's just a stone throw to Bayshore. Okay, the PSF range is 1674 up to 2667 PSF. Okay, Bayshore being an older development, 99 years from 1993, the historical high is 1560 PSF. Okay, and Costa del Sol, slightly younger, 1997 in terms of the land. Historical high, same, 1560 PSF. Okay. So this is the UNOS Polyclinic that is coming up, which is just a stone throw also. Okay, it's just along Steelwork itself. Okay, it's going to be a big, in fact, they have already started construction, and it was supposed to, okay, the plan was 2021 to open, but I think because of the circuit breaker and all that, right, they have to slow down in terms of, or rather construction stop. So I think they will push back to probably 2022. Okay, for this polyclinic to be up and running. Okay, so thank you for your time.